there's another process in the natural world that I think we emulate at our peril, and that's the process of self-replication. And this is an issue when we talk about, where you hear a lot about nanotechnology, which is a very broad term, and all of nature works with nanotechnology. All it means is things happening at a very small scale, or a nanoscale. But there have been technologies talked about in which very, very small molecules would be put together into sort of little, what are called self-assemblers. And they would take other small molecules and make copies of themselves. And those other small molecules would make copies of themselves. And that is one of those instances waiting for a runaway to occur, okay? Because once something has the ability to self-replicate, as they say, life finds a way, you know. And so that's, I think, something we should never go into a situation where we have a runaway positive feedback loop. You're making more and more of things that make more and more of themselves. I think another place where we have to be, where we have to look to nature as measure. Nature as measure says what, if nature as model says what would nature do here, nature as measure says what wouldn't nature do here. And one of the things that we really don't see in the natural world after 3.8 billion years is the movement of genes from one class of animals, okay, like fish, to another class of animals like plants. But now we're having antifreeze genes from flounder going into tomato plants, okay? That, yes, and crossing, or for instance, people are mimicking spider silk by taking the gene of the spider. This is in Canada, in Nexia it's called, the company, and putting it into a goat. The gene of the spider that makes spider silk and putting it into a goat. The goat milks protein out of its mammary glands. Then they clone the goat. Again, it's back to our culture that says we can remake things for our convenience. Just because we can do a technology, we must, you know. That idea of crossing that barrier, that cross-class barrier that nature has not crossed, really worries me. I mean, and then also this idea of once you do have that goat, and the head of Nexia can be, has been quoted many times in the press saying, once this goat is our factory, we can tweak the factory to make it faster and faster and faster. And every fiber of my being cries when I hear that, because that's the antithesis of the kind of respect that we need, the maturity that we need. So I think in terms of what we shouldn't be doing, I think this transgenic engineering is the height of hubris, and I think it's also it's a biological transgression of the worst kind.